April 15, 1912, the world held its breath as the Titanic, the largest and most luxurious ship ever built, embarked on its maiden voyage. It was more than just a ship. It was a symbol of human ambition, a floating palace hailed as utterly unsinkable. But in less than 5 days, this marvel of engineering would meet a tragic end at the bottom of the icy Atlantic, leaving the world in stunned disbelief. The story of the Titanic is one we think we know, but behind the epic tragedy lie 5 critical moments, 5 pivotal decisions and circumstances that sealed its fate. These are the lesser-known details that turned a maiden voyage into a legend. First, let's talk about what the lookouts couldn't see. On that fateful night, as the Titanic steamed through the darkness, a simple but crucial tool was missing: binoculars. The men perched high in the crow's nest, tasked with scanning the horizon for dangers like icebergs, had only their naked eyes. Why? Because the key to the locker where the binoculars were stored had been misplaced. It sounds like a minor oversight, a small detail in a massive operation. But this single, misplaced key had catastrophic consequences. Without the aid of binoculars, the iceberg that would doom the Titanic wasn't spotted until it was terrifyingly close, just moments before impact. Imagine if they had them. The iceberg might have been seen minutes earlier, giving the bridge just enough time to steer the colossal ship clear of danger. A few minutes could have changed everything. It's a haunting reminder of how a seemingly small mistake can cascade into an irreversible disaster. This brings us to our second key moment, the sighting itself. When the warning finally came, it was far too late. The Titanic was cruising at a speed of over 20 knots, a tremendous velocity for a ship of its size, especially in a region known for ice. On the bridge, the command was given: hard a starboard. The engines were thrown into reverse, a desperate attempt to swerve around the mountain of ice looming ahead. But the ship was too big and moving too fast. It couldn't turn in time. The iceberg didn't hit the Titanic head-on. Instead, it scraped along the starboard side, tearing a series of gashes below the waterline. This wasn't just a dent. The impact compromised 6 of the ship's 16 watertight compartments. The vessel was designed to stay afloat with up to 4 of these compartments flooded, but 6 was a fatal blow. Water began pouring in, sealing the ship's doom. The Unsinkable was already sinking. The collision wasn't a single, thunderous crash, but a series of fatal punctures that sentenced the grand ship to a slow, inevitable death. Now, let's turn to one of the most heartbreaking aspects of this tragedy: the lifeboats. This is our third key moment. The Titanic was carrying over 2,200 people, a floating city of passengers and crew. As the great ship was dying, its crew desperately tried to call for help. This leads us to our fourth critical moment: the ignored distress signals. The Titanic's wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, worked tirelessly, sending out CQD and the new SOS signals into the night. Their calls reached several ships, but the closest one, the SS Californian, was only about 10 miles away, close enough to potentially save everyone. But the Californian never came. Its radio operator had shut down his set for the night just minutes before the Titanic hit the iceberg. The crew of the Californian saw the Titanic's distress rockets, but they misinterpreted them, thinking they were just company signals or fireworks from a ship having a party. They tried to signal with a Morse lamp, but received no reply. Trapped by the same ice field that had endangered the Titanic, the Californian's captain decided to wait until morning. By the time they realized the horrific truth, the Titanic was gone. Over 1,500 people were left struggling in the freezing water, with rescue tantalizingly close, yet tragically out of reach. The silence from the Californian that night is one of the most haunting what ifs in the entire Titanic story. Finally, our fifth moment is one of incredible courage in the face of certain death: the heroic, yet ultimately fatal, efforts of the crew. As the ship's deck tilted at an ever steeper angle and chaos erupted, many crew members displayed extraordinary bravery. Instead of saving themselves, they remained at their posts, working to maintain order, to help women and children into the few available lifeboats, and to keep the ship's lights on for as long as possible. The ship's band, famously, played on to calm the terrified passengers. The engineers stayed deep within the hull, fighting a losing battle to keep the pumps working and the power running, knowing they had no chance of escape. Captain Edward Smith went down with his ship, a final act of a captain's duty. These men, from the officers on the bridge to the stokers in the boiler rooms, performed their duties to the very end. Their sacrifice couldn't save the ship, and most of them perished in the icy Atlantic. But their bravery has become an enduring part of the Titanic's legacy, a testament to the human spirit's capacity for selflessness even in the darkest of times. The sinking of the Titanic was more than just a maritime disaster. It was a profound shock to an era that believed in the infallibility of its own technology and progress. The lessons learned from that night forever changed the world. New international regulations were put in place, mandating enough lifeboats for every single person on board. The International Ice Patrol was established to monitor the North Atlantic shipping lanes, and radio communications became a 24-hour, mandatory operation for all passenger ships. The Titanic story is not just about a sinking ship. It's a powerful story about hubris and its consequences, about the devastating cost of complacency, and about the incredible courage and humanity that can shine through in our most desperate moments. Its memory serves as a permanent reminder that we must never take safety for granted. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the story of the Titanic. If you found this journey into history as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from our past. We'll see you in the next video.